Hi, welcome to Inspired by Pinterest. I'm Lori Allred and I am excited. I love surfing Pinterest, as you might well know. And with my 13,000 pins, I hope to pull something out each week that's inspiring, that will make you want to go to Pinterest to find out more information, to learn how to do things you've never tried before, and just be inspired. So today I'm excited because I've actually had a lot of people ask if I would feature this technique on the show. And so I have a lot of pins that reference it. It's Etched Glass. So I'm super excited. I actually got a little started at girls camp. You've heard me mention that before this summer. I spent an enormous amount of time getting ready for girls camp, going to girls camp, and just being in charge of that awesome project. Part of my responsibility was coming up or cutting some vinyl to do an awesome arts and craft for 400 young ladies between the ages of 12 to 17, 18. So they did this awesome little luminary out of a mason jar, and they put a picture of a temple on there, and then on the back it said Camp 2012, and I had to cut out all 400 of those. That was awesome. But then the girls absolutely loved these, put tea lights in them, used them in the evening. It was super cute. Another great thing, I laughed how much we used Pinterest at girls camp. A lot of my arts and crafts projects were Pinterest based. We had mosquito bite remedies that someone referenced from Pinterest. My personal favorite, we ended up with 40 ears of corn on the cob and left the pot at home. So we had no way to cook the corn. And I remember seeing on Pinterest this awesome pin I'm going to show you. It's actually cooking corn on the cob in your cooler, you know, just your cooler you'd normally put ice and drinks in. Dump all that out, put all of your husked corn inside, boil enough water to cover it, close the lid up for about a half hour. Best corn ever camping. We cooked all 40 ears just in one little small cooler, just great. So I laughed because we actually were up there on my phone trying to get enough reception so that I could look up how to do it. It worked out awesome. So I had to share that. So don't ever dismiss Pinterest. You can pretty much find everything on there. So today's episode, you're going to want to start off by going to my pin board called Etched Glass. You can see some amazing ideas on there. I actually love etching glass for personalizing gifts. I've had 4 weddings in the last couple of weeks, so I actually went and purchased some cake pans, Pyrex pans with the lid covering, but then to make them extra special, I personalized them with the bride and groom's last name on the bottom. So those turned out really fun. And I'll show you a cute pin here from makeitloveit.com. She did the same thing, put a name along the side and then a cute picture on one side. Another cute pin off Pinterest I wanted to share is this amazing serving tray that she created with an old window, and she created a cool road map on it and etched right on the glass. And then the last one, of course, is a great way to go ahead and personalize or label jars. So Martha Stewart shows us some really fun pantry ideas on this pin on how to etch glass there. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about etching glass. There's 3 different ways you can etch glass, and I might have mentioned them in the past. Now I've etched all 3 of those 3 different techniques. I don't know that you can tell the difference. I certainly can't, even in person. I'm sure on camera you can't tell at all. Now this awesome little guy, he's actually created from etched vinyl. Now I've mentioned that before on past episodes. It's simply a vinyl sheet that you can pick up. I work with a company called Brookie Craft, and they do this. It looks just simply like frosted clear vinyl. It's amazing. You can cut it out with your electronic cutters, put it on any window that you need to put it on, and go ahead and make it look etched. So it looks a little bit like you can see my finger through that. And so a lot of the signs you see on business windows and stuff that looks like they've etched the glass, they haven't. They've just used this etched vinyl. So that's what I did on jar number 1. Jar number 2, I have to check to see, oh, this one is an amazing product. This is what we used for girls camp. It's called Frosted Glass from Rust-Oleum. Now it's this product, we put the vinyl on, sprayed right over it. That's the same technique that I used on this jar. Went ahead and put the vinyl on and then sprayed it. It's the same technique I used on this amazing jar with this beautiful pattern. I just simply put that on, made sure that I covered the rest of it, and then went ahead and sprayed that. So I thought that was beautiful, especially for the detail. I thought it worked out really well just using the frosted spray. Do a couple coats, make sure it dries so you're good to go, peel your vinyl off. And then the last one is actually etched. Now this is the technique most people want me to show them, because of course if you're using plates like I did here, this cute made with love, I want it to be something they can put in the dishwasher and wash. So of course using vinyl is not going to work. So we want to go ahead and show you how easy it is to do etched. use etching cream. So now I've cut this vinyl. It's hard to see. It says Yum Yum. I don't know if you can see it through. Probably not. Yum Yum on it. Now you want to flip any words in reverse so that they're backwards. And another technique I'm going to show you. Now transfer tape, I've talked to you before in the past, helps pick up all these little bitty areas on your vinyl that you don't want to lose. Because trust me, replacing those by hand is a pain. So I'm going to take my transfer tape and I'm going to take that sheet. Now it's slightly sticky. It's made to go right on your vinyl. This is what you'd want to use if you're putting it up on your wall and wanted to keep all your letters together. Rub that really good, and then the whole piece should come right off. You got to do it a little slow though. I'm a little impatient. We've mentioned that in the past. Make sure that all your pieces stick to it. Even the little guys you want to make sure stay down, so you don't have to go back over it. Now I find pulling at an angle whenever you're doing this, trying to release the vinyl. Now burnishing it really good, which I didn't do a very good job, will help make sure that all those parts and pieces stay where they're supposed to. So now you can see the awesome word. So I'm going to take, this is a dollar store glass plate. I'm going to just place it right there in the center. I love how this technique can take something as simple as a dollar store glass plate and make it super awesome. Now the cool graphic I actually downloaded from silhouette.com. If you own a Silhouette, you know what I mean. They have great, amazing resources. Now the reason I wanted to flip it reverse is because I actually don't care if I can read it looking at it from the bottom, but I want to be able to read it looking at it through the plate. So once I've done that, you'll want to purchase some etching cream, Armor Etch. You can pick this up at most craft stores. I know Michael's carries at Hobby Lobby. It comes in a really small bottle or this bigger one. This one's almost worth the investment, especially if you have a 40% off coupon. It goes a long way and lasts for a really long time. You're going to want that, a sponge brush, and a sink. And that's my temporary sink. So I'm going to show you how to put this on. It takes 5 minutes to let it set, so we'll come back and show you at the end what it looks like. So just take your cream. It's a little messy because it's dried, and you're going to want to make sure you cover that. Now don't get it anywhere on the plate you don't have covered with vinyl. So if you're worried you're messy, you can cover that with like painter's tape or some excess vinyl you have laying around. Make sure you cover that real complete. I don't start timing it until I'm finished coating this, so don't worry about your timing it. I've gone over and it doesn't seem to matter. Now make sure you do this in a well-ventilated area. It stinks. And then I do know some people prefer to use gloves when handling this. I don't typically touch this directly with my fingers until I'm ready to wash it off. So I just keep using the brush. You'll notice there's little gritty pieces in here, almost the size of a small pebble. That's normal. It's part of the etching cream. I was going to look up before I did this episode what exactly was in etching cream, but maybe we don't want to know. It eats glass. Need I say more? So you want to make sure that you've coated every part of that. Now too much is okay, not enough bad. So the other thing, you want to kind of work it into the design. So I like to go up and down across the design once I've coated it, and then go back and forth across the design, just to make sure that I get that etching cream right in there where I want. Now you cannot reuse the vinyl. Once we peel it off, you want to just toss that. So if you're doing more than one, cut out the same design a few times. So now that I've done that, now I have gotten little spooges that have flipped off. Take those off immediately because it will still eat your glass. I hadn't noticed it ate my skin, but as I've mentioned in the past, crafters don't have fingerprints, so that's okay. Between the hot glue gun, the acid, okay, we're done with that. We're going to go ahead and time that for about 5 minutes, and then when we're done, we'll come back. You're going to want to go ahead and rinse that off in a sink or a bowl of water. I prefer the sink. So let's pause for a minute and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, now that we've let the etching cream stay on the glass for 5 minutes, I've gone up to 10 and it's been okay, but you don't want to take it off before at least 5 minutes. You'll want to do it near water, so we're just going to go ahead and, usually I do it under a running sink, but we're going to make do with what we've got here for the studio, and I'm just going to rub that off with water. Make sure you get it off really good. My husband loves it when I start doing projects in the kitchen. But no part of my house is sacred from crafting. So I think I used the blender originally years ago to make paper. So there you go. So it doesn't look like much. Just make sure you rinse it off really good so we don't have any more cream sitting on the glass. Take your towel and go ahead and dry that. Let's move that out of the way. I've got some napkins here. We'll go ahead and just dry that off. Now, this is the part I love about etching glass. Is it doesn't look like it's done anything, and I always panic when that happens, but don't worry when you start to take the vinyl off. This is the part I really like. So we're gonna peel that off to reveal this awesome etched personalized plate that cost me all of $1. It's always good to have your scissors or some X-Acto knife. See, now aren't you glad? You'll be thankful I taught you the transfer tape method, because look at all these little pieces that stayed on here. And if I didn't have that, there's no way I could have lined those up right. So peel the rest of that off to reveal your awesome design. Now these are, think about it, neighbor gifts, $1 from the dollar store. Etch in their name, like Merry Christmas, the Smiths, or something about we think you're so sweet, and put some cookies on it. You could have a lot of fun with this. Very inexpensive. Your biggest investment is going to be that etching cream, but like I said, it goes a long way. I've had this bottle for over a year and have recreated many the gift with it. So let's, and I really love it for personalizing gifts. So don't limit yourself. Again, jars, plates, Pyrex. I loved one of my pins on my pin board actually says property of, and then the person's name. I'm like, you can't get more bold than that. So if you're loaning out your dishes for church or whatnot, you have a great way of getting those back. So look how beautiful that is. I want to make sure we go back over and wash that some more. Oh, sorry, you can't see. You want to see it the other way. Yum, yum. Perfect gift idea, so that you can see this beautiful design right through it that I've created, personalized it. Again, very inexpensive, very simple, and just a little etching cream goes a long way. So thanks for joining me, and join me next week with Inspired by Pinterest.